All right, we're back. I'm Brandon.
I'm Brian.
And we are talking baseball. We want to jump right into it. This time we're talking about some prospects, and this is the Astros Prospect Show. So you know a little bit about Astros baseball, or if you don't, and you want to figure out who's coming up in the next couple of years, or who's down in this minor league system that everybody keeps talking about, this is the show to watch. So tell your friends, come see us on Twitter and Facebook, and let's get right into it.
Yeah.
I know you're excited about right off the bat, number one.
Of course. You know, we sucked for a long time. All right, and this is what we got out of it, was some high draft picks and lots of them, and made some trades and acquired young talent. And nobody right now that we have in the minors is more impressive or more exciting than Carlos Correa at shortstop. Obviously, we've signed Jed Lowry this year, and it looks like Correa will probably, at least do a half a year, I would think, at Double-A.
Double-A, see how he goes, and if he's fitting in well and hitting, which I don't.
I don't think it's gonna be a problem.
I don't think it's gonna be a problem at all.
He seems to be healthy. He broke his fibula last year on the base paths. He seems to be completely healed. I know Luna was raving about a recent video he saw of him hitting down in the Dominican Republic. So
yeah, just want to make sure he's healthy. His ankle's all ready to go.
Fine. He just needs to get more at bats at the higher level, because he was going to be going up to Double-A right around the time he got injured, anyways, last year.
Right.
So he needs to probably do that at least half season, maybe even the full season. We'll see. How they want to deal with him. I'd love to see him sooner rather than later, but why start the clock on somebody who's potentially that good?
Just for you guys that don't know, our Double-A affiliate is in Corpus. It's the Hooks. So you can drive down there to watch it at Whataburger Field, some of these prospects. While I'm mentioning it, we just switched our AAA affiliates from Oklahoma City to Fresno, California, but that's another show.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about Correa and how awesome he's going to be. He's going to be that linchpin guy who's going to be around for years to come, hopefully. All-star caliber, shortstop, power, speed, batting average. He's the five-tool guy.
That guy batting third in the lineup eventually. Pumping Springer down to 4.
Yeah, I like it. Extend the lineup even more.
Nice. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We may not see him, until after the All-Star game, or probably later, maybe September even.
Well, I hope not. I hope he's up here, gets his feet wet a little bit, and we'll see. We'll see how he does in Double-A. But I think if he's knocking the cover off the ball in Double-A for half a season, I think it's time to start pushing some of these guys. It's been a question. We have all these great prospects down there, but when are we going to see him? We lose Delano DeShields in the Rule 5 draft. We use Rio Ruiz and Fulte and Thurman in the trades, which is fine. I understand. That's part of the reason you build up a minor league system. But let's see some of these guys pushed along a little bit. We got a guy that I know is one of your favorites, and mine too, Preston Tucker. He's getting up there in age already for a prospect, and he hasn't even gotten a chance to see the big leagues, sniff the big leagues a little bit.
Right. So last year, the Astros were a bad club. They weren't as bad as they had been the previous couple of years, but they still had you got Robbie Grossman out there, Alex Presley, L.J. Hose, whoever you're trotting out in the outfield, and you never really gave Preston Tucker a shot. Springer was hurt, Fowler was hurt. All you really had out in the outfield for sure, I think at the time, was maybe Chris Carter, and everybody else was Marisnick, Grossman, those kind of guys. And then you made that promotion of Domingo Santana,
who did not fare very well.
No,
he was not quite ready.
A big prospect of ours.
He is.
Big home run hitter. He can hit for average as well, though.
MLB has him, I think, at the number 3 prospect for us, Domingo Santana.
So, outfielder. And so he comes up, and it was kind of a well-known thing that he was having trouble with the off-speed pitches. And he was struggling a little bit down there. I think it was Double-A at the time, or was it Triple-A?
It was Double-A, I believe, at the time. And then when he got sent back down, I think he went to Triple-A.
Yeah, looks like you're right. Actually, no, he played 120 games at AAA last year, so must have been there. But either way, he came up and...
He's already had a full season in AAA, huh?
Yeah. But he comes up and he strikes out 14 out of 17 at-bats. Never looked even a bit like a major league hitter. And the point being was, why aren't we seeing Preston Tucker come up. He's a left-handed hitter, outfielder. He's 24, 2 years older than Domingo Santana. Why didn't we see him at all last year? And why are we still continuing to not hear anything about him, or certainly not planning to use him, it seems like, at this point for the Astros?
Well, he did get an invite to spring training, so we will get to see him, how he does. I don't know how much time there is going to be to see him, because the outfield's crowded, as we talked about last time. Rasmus in center field, Springer in right. Gaddis is going to get some time in left field. Carter is going to get some time in left field. You'd hope that Marisnik hits and he takes over left field, and then you have a really good problem on your hands. You've got Alex Presley, you've got Robbie Grossman, you've got LJ Hose, who have all seen time. You just mentioned Domingo Santana. When do we get to see Preston Tucker? He's 24. He turns 25 in July. His numbers last year, half a season in Corpus, half a season at AAA Oklahoma City at the time. 282 combined with 24 homers, 94 RBIs. Some pretty good production.
35 doubles on top of that. So, I mean, the gap power on top of the home run power.
It was an 834 OPS. And
left-handed hitter.
And he was getting on base. The strikeouts were in check relatively, 120. He did walk a little bit, 57 times, so his on base didn't hurt you. It was combined over 352. So I like Preston. We'll see what he does. I don't know if there's going to be enough at-bats to go around this year, which maybe, you get some trades at the All-Star break. Maybe Rasmus does have a really good season and somebody wants him down the stretch. And some of these other guys have really shown that they need to be up here. And so you do have a little flexibility at that time, because Rasmus only has the 1 year.
I'm with you, and I mean, and there's not just these guys, Tucker and Santana, but you've also got these other emerging stars that
they're a couple years away. You're talking still sticking with the outfield at this point?
Still in the outfield. I mean, because this is where a lot of their depth seems to be. You've got Teoscar Hernandez, who's going to be a stud.
Right.
He's 22 at this point, so. And then he's got to be in the next year and a half plans, and maybe he starts pushing people.
Right, and another guy, power speed guy, and I think he hopefully grows into that body, and he's a big power speed guy.
Beast, yeah.
Who can push for a third hole, maybe 5-hole hitter.
Yeah.
So
what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
But at this point, they're prospects. You
Yeah,
never know.
no, definitely. The guy I'm high on, who I've been pushing, is Brett Phillips. 20 years old, got drafted a couple years ago, and he's your leadoff guy. He's the guy that's hard to find. He's the guy that can play center field, bat leadoff, steal bases, get on base, and create some havoc at the top of the lineup. Someone there, push Altuve down to the 2-hole, and really get people on base for your big guys in the future. Springer, Correa, all the guys we were just talking about, Hernandez.
We talked about how much it hurt to lose Fowler and his on-base percentage. I mean, it's because these guys are hard to find, like you said. It's hard to find a good leadoff hitter.
Right.
Somebody who plays a premium position like center field, who has speed but also power. Even just a little bit of power. His numbers last year, he batted .310, 17 homers, 23 steals. That's awesome.
It's awesome. It sounds great. But again, prospects. This is the prospect show, okay? So allow us to get a little bit excited here. We understand that these are minor league numbers, but right now we're going to be excited about our minor league numbers.
In a couple years and mock each other on our favorite guys that busted.
But Brett Phillips, he's one of the guys. We drafted another guy last year who's a college guy, so a little older than Brett Phillips. By the way, Brett Phillips, I think, ended in Lancaster, which is high A ball.
Yep.
I would imagine he's going to go back to high A ball for a half a season and then end up in Corpus with maybe a September call-up. That's probably stretching it a little bit. But
if we're in contention, then that's different. But if they've flamed out and maybe they've started dealing off pieces or whatever.
Listen to the bro talking contention this year.
Well,
wow,
you never know. All you got to do, if you strive for that 500 mark, you never know what's going to happen, especially if everybody in the West is beating up on each other.
I like it.
All right.
But the college guy we drafted this last year is Fisher.
Derek Fisher.
Yeah. So I think he's going to be a little bit more on the fast track. He's going to be right there with Brett Phillips. I think he gets in an outfield, a corner outfield spot. But another guy that's a hitter,
Yeah, absolutely.
bat on ball guy. And so I think that while this year we have a lot of all or nothing strikeout guys,
In their depth, they're kind of fringy players.
power and strikeouts, I think you see some guys coming along, Brett Phillips, Derek Fisher, that are going to be more bat on ball guys, and I think going on to third base is where you see it the most. I know you're not very high on him, but in the Cozart trade, we got Colin Moran.
Colin Moran, the same draft as Mark Appel. What did he go, 5, 6?
I think he was 6.
Left-handed hitting third baseman,
Yep.
kind of a contact guy, not a lot of power, which is one of the reasons I'm not real high on him out of a corner infield spot. He doesn't project to develop a whole lot more power.
No,
But,
I don't see much more power. You're looking at probably 10, if we're lucky, 15 home runs out of the third base spot. But he's a guy that is bat on ball, and he can hit. I think he can hit. He's a 300 guy with hopefully a decent on base percentage. Last year he played mostly Double A. He had 28 games at Corpus Christi, about 112 at bats. He batted .304 with a .350 on base.
Yeah, and that's great. Hey, plug him into the 2 holes someday. That's fantastic.
He'll play the entire year this year as a 23-year-old. So I think he's still got some time to grow. Now, what you were talking about, you got a corner infielder like a third baseman, you expect a little bit more power. And he only showed 2 home runs, 22 RBIs with 6 doubles. So it didn't really give you that big slugging.
Yeah, it's not real sexy for as highly touted as he is. Everybody's talking about it. He's this highly ranked prospect, but he really just a good hitter.
Right.
But maybe that's the extent of what he could provide, and maybe that's good enough.
Doesn't give you much speed either.
No.
He's a
Slow white guy.
Yeah.
So that's what we're dealing with there. Well, we haven't even gotten to Mark Appel. All right, so we start getting into the pitching a little bit.
Pitching is where we're deep. That's why we've been able to trade Cozart and Fulte and Thurman, and so we get into even a little bit deeper now in the Astros, and we're still, I think, really loaded there.
Absolutely.
So we got Appel. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Mark Appel?
Well, he played in college, played at Stanford, went into the draft, was passed over by us, and that first time around he entered the draft and decided to go back to school, came back, and we took him that time when we had the number 1 pick again. He projected to be so ready, close to being major league ready, and I think this is the year we finally get the chance to see him. I say finally, he was only drafted a year or 2 years ago now.
Right.
A right-handed, finesse pitcher.
He struggled a little bit.
He really got off to a bad start last year, but
A lot of things that could have come into it. He had he got injured in spring training.
yeah,
I want to say it was his appendix. I think
did
it might have been
appendicitis,
appendicitis in spring training. Got him off to a bad start. He may have struggled a little bit with the rotation system in the minor leagues.
yeah. The way the Astros handled their pitchers and running them out there 4 innings at a time, and
Was also playing at in the California League, which is known as a hitters league, and so just did not put it together. They move him up to Double A Corpus, and starts to show you what we thought he would do.
yeah, he's strong. He was good in winter ball too.
Winter ball, Arizona Fall League did great, and really showed you who he's going to be. He got an invite, a non-roster invite to spring training, so we'll be able to see him, Preston Tucker, Correa, Moran, a lot of guys.
Vincent Velasquez,
Vincent
guys that
Velasquez.
we didn't get a chance to get to.
Some of the other
Hard-throwing
pitchers.
right-handed.
Some of the other pitchers. Lance McCullers is on the way. Michael Feliz,
Josh
Vincent
Hader.
Velasquez, Josh Hader, and
A lot of depth in these pitching prospects and in our prospects in general. So a lot to look forward to.
yeah, lots to be
Fortunately,
excited about.
We only get 15 minutes to talk about these things.
We did have to wrap it up now, but I'm excited about the Astros' future. There's a lot coming on. We have a legitimate major league team now. That
They're an exciting team that you can watch at the major league level, but you also have a lot to look forward to over the next few years. So
right.
Get to know them now.
We'll see what we got this year and start plugging in those holes as we need them. But looking forward to Correa playing with Springer and maybe getting to see Appel this year. It's an exciting time to be an Astros fan, and I can't wait. So for my brother Brian, I'm Brandon. Go Stros, play ball.
Mickey and the Duke. Well, Casey was winning, Hank Aaron was beginning, one Robbie going out, one coming in. Kiner and Midget Goodell.